Yeah. I think we should be able to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Okay, I just give me 2 seconds. I need to grab some water and then let's start. Okay, my computer as well. Yes. Homework what?
Homework 2.
Homework 2, whatever time I specify, but I might consider give an extension soon. I don't want to wait until like 2 hours before the deadline to announce there's extension. So I might do an extension. Oh, that's even better, right? That I cannot extend too much from that. Just to let you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did set my username. Yeah, I did connect to the VPN.
So are you in the sorry,
Library VPN.
are you in the terminal?
Yeah.
For the CSA
Yeah. For
mobile.
no, I have a Mac, so I use the Apple terminal.
Yeah. So are you connected to the?
Yeah, I'm connected to the VPN.
Are you asking how to connect to the?
Yeah, so I'm entering my username at the pcnumber.cs.ucdays.edu.
Yeah.
But it's not doing it.
I'm sure that the PC
Oh, your PC was 05?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is it? Okay. Okay.
try like 20 something, like 21 or something around.
Maybe he's already connected. Did you make the connection?
Okay, now I got it.
Okay, oh.
So I didn't know that when you get a CS account,
What?
sorry, they just create the thing for you. Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use that. Mobile expert. I don't know. I think we can download this for work. But I'm not sure.
We don't have minutes.
Here you go. Yeah, here we go. This is from the line to 6 and 8. So like I'm saying like start normally. I don't know. Never mind. This is only for mobile. This is only for
So I'm connected. Now
Okay, let's get started. Let me see if I mute everybody. Yeah, we have a few people from remote. Any question from remote? Let me turn on my speakers. Any question from remote? I think most of you are muted. I will chat. If you put something on the chat, I will be able to see it. Oh, nobody. Let me just say hello. So we have And Wiki, we have Penelope, Angela, and Chua Yang on the line. So any of you actually connected to the Zoom? No, you're just connected. Okay. I cannot hear, it looks like I can't hear anything from the remote, but remote student, if you have any question, please just send to the chat so we can all see you. Local people here, what's your question? What do you like me to go over? Otherwise, I'm going to talk about homework 2. Right. Right. Okay, so what kind of failure you got?
It said like there was a failure status and make four.
Okay, next. Okay, let's see what is. Now I'm going to return code. Return code. Let me actually tell you. I can actually see this from my side. I just give you some idea about how poor software engineer could be when I didn't provide any like information about what's going on there. I actually make it better, but not this version. Hold on 1 second. So the question was, what is RC, say, -4, right? That's the question. So let's see what that is. In order to go to my source code on server, okay, I might have a copy actually locally here. So let me look at it. I might put you a little bit on here. So I can... How do I actually kill this? Let me just remove this first. Okay, so basically, let me actually tell you. Okay, here's the code. So this is the server part. You see that I have a different return. Let me actually show you how I parse your JSON string. Okay, so when I got your JSON string, the first thing I actually check whether whether the parse. Later you will see that there is a function called JSON parse for you to directly to do JSON programming. It's fairly easy for us to just use a library for us to directly parse up the structure. You will be, by the way, you will be really familiar with the JSON CPP library, JSON library for C++ in a few weeks. The first thing I'm actually check whether it's actually parsed successfully. If it doesn't parse successfully, it's going to be -1. Okay, minus RC, that's RC. Okay, by the way, RC is how I return to the function that's returned to you. That's RC -1. If you actually doesn't have the action, if you don't have the action, that's -2. If the type is not a JSON string, you put the wrong type in the action, that's going to be -3. But if you have RC -4, that means you actually didn't have this string right. ecs36b underscore homework 2. For example, some of the students put ecs36 underscore homework 2. So check your JSON that you submit, whether you actually match character by character. That's -4.
I'm gonna go work out finally. Took me 3 hours.
Any-
finally,
okay, I hear somebody from remote.
yep, that was me. I'm sorry.
No problem, Enrique. No problem.
Yeah.
Any question, Enrique?
Nothing about part one, just about part two, I guess. Just the operator overloading is kind of stumping me right now. But
Okay, I will go over that. I mean, my default plan is focus on homework 2, part 2, because that
okay, yeah.
is actually a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah.
part 1 should be straightforward if you just put the characters in the right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have a super fast question.
go ahead.
So for part one, basically, I just ran it through terminal, right? And then once I got a successful, I think it was like SSID or something.
Yeah, VSID, virtual student ID.
Yeah. So once I got that message, that means I'm good for part one, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
If you
perfect.
get that, you're good. We log everything what you did. So you don't, for part 1, you don't even need hand in. Okay. Okay. Any question about part 1 before we start look at part 2? Any other question? Okay. Okay, let's go to part 2.
Almost.
So you, oh, maybe guys.
Any question from remote? Okay. All right, so let me try to talk about this. So let me just recap whatever I have been talking on the general concept of homework 2, and then I can go over line by line to transaction.cpp, and then I go to the person.cpp depending on the time we have. Okay, I think we have plenty of time today. I mean, until usually we do it until 4:50. So let's go over this. It is recorded, so you can see everything. So the general concept is we actually write a program which is utilize 2.h file, but involve 4 different classes. These 4 classes are transaction, person, GPS underscore, DD, and IP address. And the IP address part, I kind of cut it off completely. So it's there, but you don't need to do anything. You don't need to worry about anything about a network address at this moment. So the idea is for you to doing some computation, and also that the result of the computation will be encoded in a JSON that's being sent to the server for validation. And the server will check whether the result is correct. If it's correct, then you will get it. So that's a general idea. So I'm actually going to first go through I don't want to go to transaction.h. I want to go through the main program first, so you will know what the program is doing. Okay, so let's actually talk about
Did you put us into another one? Oh,
any question? Sorry. Any question from remote? All right. Okay, just for a moment that this is the file that's included in the reference implementation. It's called ecs36b homework 2 part 2.cpp. The program is actually written in C. Later you will see that I will show you some sample program that's actually doing essentially similar thing, but now we're not using socket. Instead, I'm going to use some C++ library called remote procedure call. Okay. Okay, yes. Now you get -5. Let's see what -5 is, but -4 is gone, right? Okay, so just hold on. Let me actually, can I finish this part and then I'll come back to you, okay? So let's actually look at the, so I want to tell you that there was a one function. This function I wrote in C is called send ecs36 JSON. So essentially, this program, this function is going to send a JSON string to a particular IP address, a particular port number. That's just tell you that this program is given to you. You don't have to modify, but when you try to read the program, that's the function is doing. It's just sending the JSON. Okay, so if you know what is the send JSON, this part of the code, then it's a main program, that's a C++ part of the program. Okay, so inside this program, we have argc, argv, but here I create a bunch of objects. So I create 3 GPS DD objects as I show on the screen. That's actually, those 3s are just 3 GPS location using 2 floating points to represent. This is the location for Davis. This is the location for New York City. This is the location for Sydney. So just to let you know, you can see that if this is in the north, what do you call that? North sphere, then that's the second digit is usually negative. If it's like the south, then that the first digit is negative. Okay, this is the, and then I basically just fake IP address. Okay, IP address shouldn't look like this. It should be something else, but it doesn't matter. Just take a string, very simple. So this 3 line is the most important. This 3 line is garbage. Don't worry about that. So we just create 3 GPS location, and then I create a person, P1. And this person is calling the constructor with 2 strings. The first string is a name. The second string is a VSID. So if you take a, now it's time for us to take a look at the person.h. And I will just search for class person. Okay, so this is a class person. It has a bunch of attribute, VSID, name, hometown, and the home GPS. And let's actually take a look. Take a look at the constructor. You can see that the second constructor contains 2 arguments. This constructor, I should go down here. And this constructor has a name and a VSID. That's that function is called. Okay. Any question so far about this code? So I'm actually here. You can see that now I just create, up to this point, I create 3 GPS objects, 1 person object, and now I'm actually going to create a something called transaction. The first transaction object is called flight 1. And you can see that this transaction, can someone tell me how many parameters that this constructor I'm actually trying to call, just the number? 8 or 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8 different parameters. Yeah, there is a type of transaction. probably send one of the 2-person and then 2 location and then 2 IP address and the time for us to get. Okay.
Professor,
Yes.
would you be able to get rid of the background, the green screen, so we can see the board?
I'm not sure you can. What do you want to see? You want to see the board. I know what
Yeah.
the board is not that pretty, just to be honest with you.
No, I
Look
meant
the
just
board.
to get rid of.
I think you should not get rid of the background so that they can see the.
Oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay, now I know the what you mean board. Okay.
Yeah, so continue sharing the screen, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
get rid
yeah,
of the
yeah.
background.
I completely understand what you're saying. Okay, now it's how do I actually, I forgot. How do I set on my board, get rid of my background? It must be,
You would go to like a Zoom dot, like at the very top.
let me stop sharing so I get a normal Zoom window. Okay, now I can see that. Is that the preference?
I think so, yeah. It's something in like the settings that you can just change.
Background, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I found it, but then how do I get rid of the virtual background? None. Okay, now I see. All right. I'm happy.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Never thought about that. I thought I want to hide all my secret behind me. All right, so I'm going to move this a little bit. I don't know how well I can actually make it more visible. Let me actually see. You see that it's kind of tricky. Now you can see a little bit about the board, right? It's really too far away from you.
It's okay. It still works. It's better than the background.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so we have 8 different parameters here. We have 8 different parameters. So now let's actually look at the transaction.h. So this is transaction.h. And transaction.h has a bunch of things. You see that it has 2-person, person as a sender, person as a receiver, GPS, 2 GPU locations, source destination. So it's really a generic transaction design. It's not perfect, to be honest with you, but it's a design so you can encode the different type of transaction. And the transaction you can see that has 8 different parameters. The constructor has unsigned integer. The first one is actually, I believe it's a type. This one, and then there is a 2-person, and then there is a 2 GPS location and 2 IP address, and finally a time t. As I mentioned, Wednesday or Monday, I forgot, is just a representation of seconds from the I think it's January 1st, 1970. Okay. Okay. Any question?
So for the default.
Yeah. Oh.
Are we supposed to set person like the other like what's it called? Like the
All the parameter,
Yeah,
what
all the
you should
parameters.
initialize.
What should I
Okay. Okay. So it's a good question. I didn't specify in the homework assignment because that constructor is never called by the test program.
Okay.
So you have the freedom to do whatever you want. At least as long as it can compile,
Okay.
it won't cause any runtime
Okay.
crash. It shouldn't, right?
Yes.
Because it doesn't, it will never get caught with this test program. But that's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, any other question about the first few lines about the test program for homework 2, part 2? I'm going to pause a little bit to continue my introduction to the every single lines of code. I want to see what is your status about homework 2, part 2, including remote students, and then we can actually kind of get a sense about what is really we can help you to learn at this point. I thought somebody, Enrique, did you have a question to ask?
No, I kind of figured it out as I thought about it. It's just initializing the, like how you can put classes, like use them right here, like PR sender, and use them as person. I thought you can only use defined types like a integer string, but
Okay.
classes, yeah, too.
So, I mean, since you guys, why don't you think about this? I think what I want to do, I'm doing Google. I remember there's a good article about time t, time_t. I just want to find it very quickly. Yeah, this is a CPP reference. Yeah, this is what I said. What is time t? If you look at the C++ reference.com, you can see that time t is holds the number of seconds since 00 all the way since January 1st, 1970 UTC. Okay, this is called POSIX time. POSIX, I think, is called portable Unix, portable standard Unix. Okay, and that's how you use. So essentially, you just include time.h. You just include time.h, and then you can actually just say, whatever time you got, right? So there was a bunch of library call or system call. That's actually going to do the report. Well, by the way, I want to ask you a question. Some of you might heard, some of you never heard. Do you feel any difference when I say library function call and system call? What's the difference between library function call and system call? Okay, that's something good. I want. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So so here is the difference between system call and library call. So in any operating system, including Unix, including Windows, we have something called kernel. Have you heard about operating system kernel? So operating system kernel is a separate piece of code that's actually with privilege to actually really handle the hardware resources or handle managing all the tasks running, like a scheduling, memory management. So that's called operating system kernel. So whenever you make a call, that this call require a kernel service, that's called system call. If you do not require a kernel service directly, that is actually a what we call a regular library function call. That's a difference. So then let me ask you a question. How about malloc? This is by the way, this is a question I asked the student at upper level classes, but I want to just prepare you for that. Malloc is what? Malloc is allocate a piece of memory, right? So is malloc a system call or a library function call? You think? It's a malloc is a standard POSIX library. It's a standard. Okay, let me just, because I already gave the answer. Malloc in general is a library call. It's managing memory However, sometimes malloc will go to kernel service. The reason is usually you got actually, when you create something called a process or a program, the operating system already allocate a memory address to the program, already done it once when you actually create the process. And therefore, when you do malloc and free, you're just doing local memory. And so it's not involved kernel service, so is a library function call. However, sometimes if you actually, depending on the implementation, that you actually ask too much memory, that it might trigger a trap that's actually ask operating system to give something else. Then it becomes a system service. But usually malloc is not what do I call that? It's not a system call. How about time? Is time a system call or is it a library call? Sorry, it's a library function call. Depending on what kind of time service, because time, you can imagine who is managing the time. It's operating system kernel is managing the time. Okay, so in general, when you see the include, if the include has sys / something, it's a system call. If it's not like this time, this is the general local time, so it's not a system call. Okay, so anything you actually call in the stdio is not a system call directly. Anything is stdin is basically not a system call. How about fread? Is fread a system call or fwrite, fopen? No, those are actually, I would say let's actually do a man. Let's do a man. So fopen fread is not, it's a regular function call, but if you look at open, that's another call called open. No, I have to say -2 open. No, I forgot, how do I actually go to the different version of open? -k2, is that right? Is that -m? Man. Sorry, there's a one, maybe it's a lowercase. No, I saw that. Section, where's the section? Okay, I think it's just man 2 open. Yeah. So you see that open. In fact, I'm confused a little bit. FCNTL doesn't have a sys, but open is definitely a system call. It's create a file. And fopen definitely will invoke. Fopen will actually underline fopen is actually open. So fopen is actually going to call open. Printf is going to call write, for example. If you do a man write. Oh, okay. You see that I actually put the 2. Oh, I just tell you a trick about Unix. If I do man open, it's going to refer me to a command, a regular command called open. You see that this is 1, that's command. But if there's different section, if I actually be able to do 2, that I actually force it to go to 2. And the 2 is actually a system call. Whatever the number is 2 here, this is a system call. So now I want to see what's fopen. I forgot to, fopen is 3. 3 is a library. You see that? This says library function menu. That's 3. If you go to open, then it's called system call menu. So that's the difference between 2 and 3. So if, for example, if I say printf should be 3. Oh, printf is a 1. That's because it's a command. So if I say 3, that's the printf that you're going to call. The library function call is all the printf. But if you go to write, okay, this is 1, but if I put 2 here, then basically this is writing out the system call. P write and the write D. Those are the system call. Yes. Okay, and then I asked what's on malloc. Let's actually do malloc. You can see that malloc free, they're all 3. They're all 3. Okay. Okay, so just give you some background about those function call and the library call about malloc and those things. Any question about homework 2 or anything from the class? Yes. Uh-huh. For homework 2, you don't need to create a JSON file. So just use the command line and just enter a JSON in a string as one of the ARGV that pass into your program. So of course you can modify the client.c from homework 1 and just read in the JSON as a file and then send it out. That will be okay as well. In fact, that's probably a more elegant solution to deal with that. And later, homework 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you essentially just read in the JSON. At that time, we're reading a really big JSON. Potential is 100 KB JSON. And then at that time, you cannot type in as an argument. You have to do a file.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome. Yeah.
For part 1, I just use the file from homework 1.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, but it still give me a success for what
Right. Yeah,
okay.
that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Any question from remote or local? Okay, I'm going to your question about -5, right? So this, I'm going to go use a different window. Okay, here's a -5. So I'm expecting the SID, the student ID that you actually submitted with your JSON is going to be a string. A string means you have to provide 2 double quotes to put that. What? Yeah, then that's not a string. It will give you -5. You need to put 2 double quotes
Just 9 minutes.
around that. The code is not being checked. I did not check the code. Okay, does that make? Okay. You have a question? Of course.
Yeah, so I don't want to come off.
Okay. Can you tell me what kind of question it is? I'm just wondering whether I should share it here or I share it.
I cannot like use your tutor or something on that.
Oh, you talk about the GDB, running GDB on Mac. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for the time being, don't use Mac for GDB because GDB Mac changes license, so GDB don't work naturally
Oh,
on Xcode.
you provide a tutorial.
Right, and that one is kind of, I also realized that that was the old one, the old tutorial link. That one they might have changed something, which I haven't actually tested the newer version. So I would say, well, I would suggest you just use CSIF. CSIF is Ubuntu, and over there GDB has no problem. For that extra, just use the SSH to.
Sometimes
The point is,
You probably have to use a library VPN.
tell me anything about it. I did not want it.
So if you continuously have
want
that problem, let me know. It's the network problem. Yeah, I also have some issue with that, but it should went away pretty fast. Okay, I'll address the GDB issue on Mac at the later point after I try it myself. Okay.
Like you go in and say, hey.
All right. Any other question? Any question? That's okay. I will tell you that you see that I have all the code -5, -6.
You can read.
As probably at least 15 or something in this -8, -9. Okay, -9 is about the code. Oh, okay, now I know the code also need to be straight. The code need to be double quote as well.
Yeah.
So my example has a double quote. It needs to have a double quote. Okay. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yes, even everything, either latitude or longitude. And there's a spelling about longitude, by the way. I haven't fixed that. I should fix that. This is an extra T I introduced a long time ago. I never fixed it.
Yeah. Today or tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. After yesterday, I don't want to.
Can you put it here? No, that's too dangerous. Put it there. Okay, what do you have?
So it just shows me.
The point is,
It's here, right?
I do not.
What do you look? What are
I'm
you?
trying to get the Python says it doesn't show like when I try to compile it. I get this error right here.
No, it's not. Because my deal. That's wait a minute. Where is this directory?
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know what it is.
So
It's in downloads right
I don't
now.
need to check down.
Sorry, right
always
here.
wait
Well, no, I know. I want to open the file.
And then check down. So
I want to see where it is.
And it had this
Okay, this is under download. So we have to copy that code over here.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah.
So probably the project might have been misconfigured, so such that we actually added the wrong. I'm talking about VS Code. But let me actually try to do something very quickly. /ANT.
I want, so even if you don't have to do
Huh. This doesn't work.
but they make you combine.
It's always have this problem, right? Let me see.
I do not know how to do biology chemistry. So it's like I don't know, it's not about chemistry. I don't know how to do chemistry. So yeah, I just think it's pretty fun.
It's totally not accessible right now. You might need to restart just restart the whole VS Code. Seasonally, this is not the first time. So you have it's not giving you the.
Yeah, if you just type it in right here. I just.
No, I want to get VS Code.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can do VS Code.
After that.
Physics.
Physics, sorry.
No, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. So basically, in order to take 90, you have to take the money.
So this is not a Linux Windows, you have to say WSL. So now you're here, okay? Now you see the /C is here. And
Yeah.
where's download?
I was children today.
Is that
Yeah.
document? Okay, here now you have myhero.c, right? Okay, so why don't you just develop here? Maybe it's easier to just gcc minus o say myhero .c. So under this file, when you open the project, next time open a new project, it will ask you where is your code. Then you can actually redirect that to a particular folder to do that. But right now you can actually check your code. myhero, yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't working out. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, question here?
Do I transfer my desktop in here?
Uh-huh.
How do I
Where is it?
So you already have it here, right?
I have it in my files are in desktop.
This one, right? So this is on CSIF.
No, you don't have
Just
to.
I
Go
just
back.
use the chart command this one, and it's created. I need
It's
the.
like California for possible.
Okay, so where's your,
Yeah, store.
let me do this.
Oh, store.
So where's your homework one?
It's in desktop.
Yeah, it's very busy. I would never do it.
This is homework two.
It's like
You only have homework two.
it's like they don't pay them. And that's for no, yeah, $14. 14 cents.
When I was
Wow, come on, still better than like
seriously. Oh yeah, yeah, South one is much higher.
So didn't just transfer. Didn't just transfer.
You cannot transfer directly. You have to use the command torrent. So let's go to
I don't know. I don't want
this one.
I mean, you can only work from that and like what kind of a high school job?
I got a job in
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here you have homework one, right? So you have to use the command tar zcdf. And then what was the name of the file you're supposed to create? I actually put it here. It's somewhere here, right?
So you have.
No, it's here. You see, zcdf. I actually use ecs36b f2021 homework one. Submission, and your user ID is what? US AH, like this, tar.gz, and then homework one, right? So now is in. Now you have this file. So we need to send this file over there. So it's sftp US. What's your user ID? AH at PC32, say, CS.UC Davis, .edu. Are you on the VPN?
Yeah, I was sent it to 15.
That's why.
PC 15.
It doesn't matter which one you have. It might not have. Let me just 17. Okay, so now, yes, you have to enter the, hold on 1 second, you have to wait.
So here I'm connected to 17.
This one is 17, but it should give you a,
Yeah, see, I was connected to 15.
it's okay, because 15, 17, they all share the same file space. Yeah, if you, either one. So why don't we wait until the password come back? I'll show you. The command you need to do is using SFTP using put to put it in that particular
Yeah,
directory.
I used the SFTP, then put, and then the file location, but I didn't have this on here. Everything was in desktop.
Okay,
That's why I was.
okay, all right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the error handling stuff, you have to like check if there's a missing field and if the file size is like correct, right?
Right.
So well, I got the file size one. I just checked each chunk for their size except the last one.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
So wait, do I have to say if the input was like too big or too small? Or do I just have to say it's wrong?
That's kind of.
You just say it's wrong. Yeah, you don't have to say it's too big. too small.
Okay, well that's a little extra, but
But
then
Okay, sure.
So they don't understand, but they can't.
Thank you.
then you have to check if any chunk is missing. I wasn't really sure how I should do that because. But am I supposed to click
No, well, you remember when you do the my heal, you have to open the chunk, right? And then try to append to the file you try to generate. So if the chunk is missing, then when you do F open on that chunk, it will fail.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you F open, it will. Can you show me where you do F open? On the chunk.
Yeah.
Show me the where you do F open for each of the chunk.
Oh, so wait, this would fail?
Not necessarily fail is the TF.
Oh, so.
The TF is fail, it will be null.
Oh.
So this instead it says cannot open. Here is saying the missing chunk.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, that's simple.
Yeah. It's not that. Yeah. It's just think about it. If this chunk is missing, when you open, if it's successfully open, then TF will be a non-null pointer, null pointer. But if it's not there, it won't happen.
Okay. As for like submission, I already have like the main stuff. So like for the submission folder, you have like the my heal, my break, the
Make file, readme, just put something like your name, your student ID.
That's like that should be all you need for the submission.
Yes.
I didn't submit it yet.
Wait, but I don't have to like give you like a text file to break and heal.
No, we will actually use whatever file we have to test your program.
Next week.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Also, I'm supposed to like submit it like through the CSI, right?
Yes, using hand.
Okay, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't watched the video. Is that cover how to like all the files are on my computer, but how to put them on CSI?
Yes.
Their video cover that?
I have a video about how to do hand in, but I didn't have a video for you to do SFTP, secure file transfer. So how do you SFTP is a command. Let me actually just do a. Okay, so a lot of you is asking how to use SFTP. I'm going to show on the screen. Okay,
I'm sorry.
Secure file transfer. How do you actually move a file to the other machine?
What do you move a file from the computer to the
Right, from your computer
to CSI
to C or anywhere you want. But for homework, for handing, yes, the CSIF. But for other purpose, SFTP is a really powerful tool. And the reason, in fact, this is probably the only good reason for me to force you to use hand-in instead of Canvas, because if you do Canvas, you won't have a chance to use SFTP. Okay.
Is it okay for mobile extern? They haven't uploaded.
Yeah, mobile extern has an upload. You can just upload.
Button or upload files.
No, I mean you can upload it to the CSI,
Yeah.
but in order to make the file in your server, you still need to do handling.
Yeah, You still have to do hand in.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
If you want to do mobile upload, I won't stop you to do that. That's fine. Yeah, but SFTP is something which you all should know how to use.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, so let me actually just very quickly to tell you SFTP in general. Let me move this a
Also,
little bit.
Professor, after this, can I ask you some questions about home?
Sure.
Yeah. So,
Okay, assuming we have a file, this file called ecs36 web report.tar.gz, which I want to transfer to another machine. Let's say if I want to transfer, this is called SFTP. You can actually do a man SFTP, I believe. It will actually tell you how to use this program, secure file transfer program. And I would just say SFTP and my own server. I'm actually, you can transfer to any machine, but I'm actually transferred to the machine which I have your homework assignment. 169.237, that's UC Davis IP address. 6 is computer science network. 102 is my server. I thought, oh, sorry, my VPN is down. Why my VPN is down? Okay, I'm going to use the library VPN. This is really bad. I mean, just all different kind of VPN issue.
so
Is this working? See, push. See, I every time you connect VPN, you have to push.
yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So annoying.
And mine is even worse. Is that I have 2 phones. I have to use the other phone to do the push. I set up to be too secure. Now I regret it. I have to carry 2 phones. I can change, but I just too lazy to do this kind of thing. I have so many other things I should have been doing, but I haven't done it.
You can also use
Okay, now I get connected.
So it's like, doesn't really get out.
So I think I have VPN. So now I can do SFTP
Yeah, it's just a humble one.
36b at
Yeah, you don't have to.
PC 14.cs.uc Davis. IDU. Okay, so I'm actually logged into CSIF.
So basically,
okay, so in SFTP, you actually get something like this kind of terminal, and then you can do ls. Oh, remote student, are you still there? Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to continue. Every time I change a VPN, the Zoom has some problem. So now I can do CD to say hand in. That's a directory, and then I can say put the file. I say input. This is the file. I was just uploading that file, and then after I quit, if you go there using SSH, you go to hand in, you can see that file I just upload is already here. I just uploaded. So this is called SFTP. The two most commonly used command in SFTP besides cd ls, so you can change directory, is input and get. Input means upload something, and get means download something. And there's another thing which you will learn later, is called LCD, is a local CD. If you want to change your local directory using LCD instead of CD. So SFTP is a quick way to do this, okay? Okay, any other question?
You want to stop?
Yeah. You don't have a my hill.c again?
It like it deleted or it changed.
This is executable. This is actually the executable program. Can I go back to your terminal?
Yeah.
Here, right? Wait, how do I get back to you?
You just press it.
Okay. No, the program is there, but my hill.c is gone.
Okay, then.
Yeah, me too. Oh, for some reason today is not like.
Okay, let me actually find it. You might have by accident deleted already. Slash
You see, so
minus name
I did it
my
like
heel
October
C
11th,
minus
which
print.
is 2 days
This is
ago.
basically try to find
And,
everything. Oh, I have to
yeah.
do another thing.
Right now,
So Unix sometime you could type the run command and then you just can you enter your password? I just want to access search for the whole directory, see if I can see anywhere has that my hill.c. It's gone, then it's, it has been override or something.
It's like, can you turn on the phone? It's like, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's good for you to just make sure you keep a backup copy of the program.
Did you change directories? So, okay. So
I guess
you
I
just
can.
did like that. You
It
just-
doesn't look like it has. Hold on 1 second. I don't want to do this. I'm going to see it. I want to see the result. So I'm going to. Okay, I redirect everything to the file called EE because the screen just go by. I cannot see the result. I just redirect all the output to file called basically starting from the root to search everywhere in your hard disk to see if they can find a file called myhill.c. And you can go to the window. Is this the window?
No, you mean
I want to search. Is there a search? Oh, I can search, right? myhill.c. Let's see if we search. No, I don't want to search in the. I want to search on the.
it's
Not document. I want to search for. See, this is the window which I'm unfamiliar with. I want to search for every single file that match the name myhill.c. I don't know how to do it in Windows. I'm sorry, but I know how to do it in Mac.
I think you have to do it.
Yeah, maybe in my computer or something. Yeah, it looks to me that you might have accidentally deleted it already. So you might have to rebuild. But the thing is that myhill.c is not too much different from myhill.c. You should be able to recover in a very short time. But if this happened in a more bigger project, you're in real big trouble. To be
Yeah.
honest, this is usually you waste a few days of work easily. Yeah.
I don't know what happened on the installation.
No, potentially, I mean, the one is the make file, the clean rule.
Yeah.
If you didn't set the clean rule correctly,
Yeah.
you could destroy your file easily.
Okay.
Clean. So make sure that the clean file, clean rule is being set up exactly well. It looks okay.
Yeah.
It looks okay.
Professor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some problem with the server. I mean, homework.
Okay, let me check. I right now I cannot even find the VPN. I have to go to the VPN to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said.
Let me check. I have a problem with my. You know, I'm guessing when I'm using Zoom, it doesn't allow me to go to the server. I cannot connect to the VPN to access to my server.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So let me actually see that. Let me actually see if I can do it with my. Can you see the web for the server? The web link.
Okay, that's.
So try to do just.
You mean the series?
What? Understand how to use the diff command. I'm trying to use it on these files.
Uh-huh.
And I don't get it.
You don't get anything. That means they're identical.
Okay.
So that means that they're good. They're
Another
identical.
question.
Sure.
Was about the way I was checking for errors.
You know, you raise a good point. I mean, sometimes the diff should have said they match perfectly, right? They're just silent. Okay, those guys developed this program in 1970. They are antisocial. Okay. Okay. Sure.
The way I understand it is I need to add 2 tests in my program to see if a chunk is missing,
Yeah.
to see if the chunk size is like mismatched.
Right.
Right. So here's how I am checking for that. To check if the chunk size is mismatched. The outer loop in your my break for I. The way I understand this program is I is going to run the number of chunks.
Right.
Yeah. So if I add 1 to that and I multiply by the chunk size and I compare it to the number of chunks times the chunk size, I think the second part is working properly, but I think probably.
No,
This
this
is always
is
triggers, and I feel
probably
like
the
it's
wrong.
wrong.
Okay, this is probably wrong because the chunk size means that, for example, you have a file which suppose the chunk is 4K,
Yeah.
but I actually only give you 1K or 8K. So in other words, your program already knows the size expected size is 4K, 4 times 1K, right?
Yeah.
4. So the way to do it, you have to use the command like fseek or ftell, those functions to actually be able to see that the file you really open, how big the file is.
Ftell tells you where you are in the current position.
Right. So fseek is going to you do fseek and say seek end. It will move that position to the end. After you move the using fseek to move to the end, and then you do ftell.
Okay.
That will give you the size. Yeah, that's the way to do.
Because the last thing,
Sure.
this is how I was checking the number of chunks missing, and I'm not sure if it was doing it properly or not. After everything, I was
Okay.
comparing the number of iterations plus 1, so the number of chunks,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I did.
Uh,
or not
I-
number of iterations. But
So
I was comparing that to the number of chunks, just like comparing some of the command line argument.
If-
and
it might not work depending on the case, but the best way to do it, where do you do fopen for the chunk?
I open the chunks one by one.
Here, right? F open F main, right? R. This is
Yeah.
So here's the TF, right? TF is the file pointer. If the chunk is missing, then the TF is going to be null.
Yeah, go to.
So then you know it's missing.
It's like,
In the library, you just have cannot open.
Just
So
change
if I
that
replace
to,
this,
yeah, just change it, say, chunk missing.
And you said for the other bytes, that would you check the byte mismatch properly is you use F6 to go to the end of the
And
first file.
then use F cap.
And
F6
you
and
check
F.
that that's the number of, or you check that that is the number of chunks multiplied by the size.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks a
Yeah.
lot. That clears it up.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any questions?
No.
Yes, please. Yeah, you can put your computer here.
Yeah, so about the problem, I have connecting to CSF.
Uh-huh.
It is show like this, so I search online and find out that maybe I need to do something.
Are you on the VPN?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. You're in the library. Is this a library VPN?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's a VPN.
No, it's a VPN, but I'm saying that whether it's a library VPN.
It's a VPN.
Our campus, yeah, we have like 3 different kind of VPN.
Oh, really?
One is a library VPN, one is what they call what? Yeah,
So
campus.
this is
I only want
Yeah, so I know one of them will work. It's only one will work. Probably library VPN will work.
But actually, I used to use this VPN.
And work.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's good. Sure. Let's try to do that again. This one, right? You try to access to, let's try not 45, but 15, okay?
I changed part of number.
I usually use
No, I think right now it's just mixed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I
Let me check mine, because I had trouble to get onto VPN.
So he told me like.
Let me actually use the library VPN. I really hate this. This VPN is getting so uncomfortable.
Oh, and the other time, it's actually discussion. How many files should we attach to?
I'm sorry, what?
How many files should we attach to?
how many you want something.
So it's
I have to pull out my another phone again.
Why you keep doing this?
Make file, my hail, my break.
Okay.
And read me file.
That's all.
I think so. It's like for me, it's like 2 weeks ago. So.
Yeah, I have no problem access to CSIF using the library VPN. So it might be you're using a different kind of VPN.
Yeah, there's a very detailed like instruction.
You should try to use a library VPN. Yeah, I mean, this is horrible. I mean, any VPN should work. Why they? You should go to UC Davis. You should search for UC Davis library VPN using the.
Yeah, they have a very detailed.
Yeah, because I.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
They have.
Okay, I'm going to get more water. I'll be back. Right? Sorry.
Never used it before? Okay. I think it's divided. You have to choose them. You should have. Yeah, you see.
yeah, but I think mine is like.
Oh, really?
Going, I don't know why.
I remember
like he explained
downloading
how
this
to
thing.
submit
from
the
this
signal.
website.
The uploading.
Upload.
The uploading. That's uploading. into
VPN, what the heck?
And then,
no, the uploading part.
upload CSI. Oh.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, this
So
is
we-
a library.
we-
Yeah,
okay, so
but like
if we
some
can be
genre,
text file,
maybe it's
like,
like
or doc
laptop.
file. Or it
I
has
did
to-
text file. I think it's
I
still
don't know,
text files.
I never tried, I didn't try it.
No,
No, I don't know how to
so
use
I
this.
was before the B into, so this is where I was, right? My one is in desktop under this. See, this has the, when we use this command, then I have these all. And then this is done by user to the FTP connect. And it's going to be something.
It's not on. No, I think TA has that. So like, he was like, yeah, I'm going to TA, so I'm sorry. He was like, oh, I'll let you home. And he's, no, he said his office hours come to be back. But it's not. It's like, you know, that maybe it's sort of forced to see. I can't say. But TA says it's true.
Can you say like yes?
Right.
Yeah.
He also said that he might want the GAs to do Zoom like.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like it's one of the things like when it takes time, like in 5 minutes per person. Just want to get done with this all.
This is why you get.
Maybe it's easier this way, and then I can tell you this is why she's mad.
That's
I like that.
also like,
I just generally.
I can't use that.
I just, I don't know, I would like Windows too, but because I never bought an iPhone.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Wait, you don't have that?
Oh,
You have a lock to get up
they
to,
actually check the version, but it is the library.
it is, okay, and you, yeah, and it still don't work.
Oh, you got the.
Let me try to log into CSS.
I actually log into CSI app, and it's okay with,
Yeah, it is working. I was able to log in.
that's strange,
Let me-
why, let me check what did
Yeah,
you,
it's
How did you do that?
no, I know.
How did you log in that one? Mine actually did this.
I don't know, like it's just
Oh, I never saw this, KEX exchange identification, let me actually see what I use.
Yeah, I actually searched on the document that said that found on website. It doesn't have it. And maybe something strange.
that's what I said.
No. So like if I use SSH, this is my. Yes. Then
I
Yeah.
it's like you just go. The two you can go with. This one. Wait, doesn't this matter?
It doesn't matter.
See, we have the- Is your homework in this SFTP?
Why?
It's ugly.
It's ugly?
Yes, we need. That's the thing, but mine is not.
Okay, well,
Yes, so
I don't-
it's inside of SFTP. Let me
is
see
it better?
this. And then inside
Okay,
this,
really?
you have
Oh,
one.
I think I
Did download it?
I did download it, and then
Mine-
as this
mine
is
doesn't
for
have one.
I was just uninstalled.
I'm trying to.
Because
like,
I want. It's better.
In my opinion.
My opinion doesn't.
doesn't like. I'm not saying this is worse, but it doesn't.
Let me do one.
What did you?
For me, it's really no difference. The tab is like good. Extra tab is doesn't bother me. What are green points on some?
Oh, so if you look at my picture.
Oh, I see.
It's a, you know what a bulbous is? Yeah. It's a bulb. Do you know what a bulbous is? Yeah. That's all. Versus this new.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Something.
Which one check?
I'm just gonna see. I'm
I wish that's right.
see what.
So yeah, you see, it's very hard. It's not.
Oh,
Representing the one from 2019.
I'm still nice.
That was not.
Okay, according to the web article,
Yeah, I'm still nice.
yeah,
that's a nice one. I was graduating.
it's probably not something on your computer. It's something actually on the server side. They actually somehow detect whatever the network address. That's actually they kind of block it because usually this is not blocked by your machine. It's actually blocked by the remote machine.
Well, maybe that's why I cannot like submit my homework for ecs36b. AM. It's another course that has to connect to the computer, but I cannot submit it.
So do you have this problem? When did you have? I mean, are you sometimes have problem logging into CSIF at all, or you actually can do CSIF at home only when you come to campus? You can connect to CSIF.
Well, I mean, I seldom do it, so I'm not sure about it. But the one time that connecting to it successfully is
Yeah, try to see if at home will work. So at homework and the campus won't work. That means somehow your network computer to the campus network somehow they discriminate. Whatever your EDU ROM. From your EDU ROM, they actually recognize a particular. You might be put it in denial list. Whatever you use your layer 2 ID on campus. But when you actually access from home, because they don't know, because this machine, they will actually allow you. So check that. If that is the real difference, is that you can actually do CSIF from your whole network, but only when you get on campus. Then that's a bigger issue. You need to worry about why they block your computer. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out what's going on. It's interesting to see that why they have this issue.
But what if it doesn't work? I mean, it's a little
If
risky.
it doesn't work at home, we still have to talk to the network people, but at least we know that's probably a different issue.
If so, can I like have an extension?
Sure, I understand. Yeah, no problem. Don't worry. Yeah.
Can I get a homework one checklist from you? So what we need to do is that after running it, we check that the difference, we have to check that there is a difference.
All right,
If we delete one of the things, it will actually like the code itself will lower this.
Right.
If we, for all of the chunk sizes, if we put the wrong chunk size, we'll check that everyone put inside the last one. Correct?
Right.
We need to write the make file, remove the tar and send it. Is there anything else that I haven't?
Homework 1, part 2, that's everything.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Professor?
Yeah.
So I think
Okay,
the
so
load works. I've created the jar file, it has the homework one,
Mhm.
but while I'm submitting, it doesn't work. So if I go into this, it says not a directory, because it's not a directory. Can I just go into homework one?
Why do you need to go to homework 1?
Can I, how do I submit it? It's not working.
So this is a file you want to submit, right?
Yes.
So you're just typing this line. You said, and
I
then
did type it.
ecs36b, homework 1. Yeah, submit, okay.
Well, I did the same thing here. Because you have to type it, I just copied it from here, like copy pasted and I did it here.
No, there is a 1 space. before it.
Oh, okay.
When you copy paste, copy 1 extra space, the
Okay.
computer don't like it.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, computer are actually very picky. They want it to be exactly the same. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Professor, I have a
Yeah.
problem on homework 2. Some
Oh, nice. Yeah, me too.
this is
Oh, this
function.
is.
Now I need to use, sorry, this parameter to have 2 buttons. But this parameter is from transaction, not see somewhere.
Oh,
Oh, did you check each file and make it this parameter? Or this file?
I did. You don't have to. It's because I actually capitalized one of the.
Well,
My break, I capitalized one of the Ds and one of the.
Okay, it's a GPSD. Maybe I'll show on the screen. I
Yeah,
think that would be an interesting question for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, homework 2. It's like for,
It's a distance.
yeah, because I think the question that we are struggling with is like, we don't know how to get the object.
Hold on 1 second. Let me kill this.
And especially, we don't understand the syntax, like GPS dash DD and there's an ampersand.
Sure, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
So let's go to transaction.cpp first.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay, we try to get distance, right? We try to actually get the distance for between the, essentially what we want to get is the distance between right. So we try to get the distance between these two. So the way to do it, I'm going to write a pseudo code, okay? So essentially to get the distance, it must be return something, okay? It must be return something that's actually from a call, which will be this to the tr src where, and then inside there, you're going to, yes, you're going to call a function. Let me just, no, not geodata here. This is going to give you GSP. Now, then I'm going to call distance. And inside distance, I'm going to put another parameter, this to the TR DST where.
Yeah, That's exactly what.
Okay, if you do this, then essentially the transaction part is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question about this. So I see a lot of this. Can I skip?
Yeah, you don't have to have this. You can actually get rid of this.
Just know this. Like I have a whole bunch of this in the file.
Yeah. You can get rid of this. This is actually equivalent.
Does this mean a pointer or just
This is a pointer of itself.
Yeah.
So these two are essentially the same. With,
Okay.
with this or without this, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're actually now focused on the GSDD distance. So now let's actually go to GSDD distance. So now I'm actually going to distance, right? Here.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay. So
what is another?
what do you mean another?
The parameter like GPS dash GD and ampersand another.
This one?
Yeah.
So remember, you have when you do copy constructor. Copy constructor, you try to copy box to another box.
But this is not a copy constructor.
The same idea. The same idea. So copy constructor is actually copy the value of another box into the box who's calling that constructor. So listen to me. Hold on, I haven't finished. Distance is saying that, okay, you pass in another GPS DD. I'm actually computing my own distance with this, my own, I'm actually looking my own coordinate, and this coordinate, I try to compute the distance.
I see. So, okay. So is it like I'm passing another? So the another is an object from.
It's the object.
GPS dash DD.
Right.
So what does the ampersand?
It's a call by reference. You can, if you remove that ampersand, I think this code will still work. We just say we want to just, I mean, this is just convention. The ampersand just means that you will be able to modify this object inside. It's not a call by value.
If I do not include ampersand, does that
it should work. In this case, it should still work.
But we are not supposed to modify the code and use it.
You're not supposed to, yeah. But if you change it, it shouldn't harm.
So basically, so are we trying to find distance between me and another?
Yeah, exactly.
So what is me? Is it tr dash source dash where?
Right. Did I just show you this one?
Yeah. Transaction.cpp.
You see here? This is me.
Oh, this is you. Okay.
This is me, and this is another.
I see. So basically now, so it's the same. It's the same.
It's the same thing.
idea.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, that's those two objects. That's why it's this. See, that also bring another issue. Sometimes operator overloading looks nicer because this is not operator overloading, but I could potentially make an operator overloading. Say, what's the distance between these two?
Yeah.
Any question? Yeah, go ahead. What? Okay, just hold on a second. I want to just, this is probably confusing a lot of people about part two. Let me try to make sure everybody understands. Okay, so now we're okay. Now we go back to this part. The person, so we're here, right? So now you know what is the this and what is another, right?
Yes.
Okay,
So this is a source. Source dash where.
Right. I mean,
Another,
I
another
mean,
is just
by the
another.
way, you can revert that to in the transaction.cpp, you can actually have destination as this,
Okay.
another as a source. Either way is fine because the
Because the
distance
distance
is-
doesn't change.
doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. So now the issue is you have to call this geodata source distance function, right? They actually have a 5 parameter. It's a 5 parameter, but the number 5 is easy. Just say, I think you just say m, which is
Meter.
represent the miles. But the 4 is 2 latitude and 2 altitude.
We have to get it.
longitude. And the way to get it, let me actually see what I got. Sorry. You see that here you have latitude and longitude. So those 4, I will assume, is going to be, I'm just writing it here. It's going to be, those 4 is going to be this to the latitude, this to the longitude. And then the other one is another dot latitude.
Professor, what is, so in this case, what does this
Wherever you start. Like
Means source.
mean? It's
Means
just like,
source.
so TR dash
Right.
source dash. where?
Anytime you see me say this -2, this 6 character, if you remove the same.
But how can the computer know that which latitude?
No, it knows because if you say latitude, it's actually say this object. So latitude.
Can I say like, can I say TR dash source dash weird dot?
No, you cannot. Because you don't know whether this is TR source or not. I mean, how do you know? How does compiler know
Oh, I see.
who is actually calling this function? It might not even be transaction, right?
Right.
It might be something else.
Yes. Okay, I got it.
So this is going to be this 4.
So the last one is just M, or like the units.
M is a unit, right?
Oh, okay.
Just a character M.
And that
Single
doesn't,
quote.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Question about part 1 of.
Just give me a second. Let me finish. I know there's another question about homework 2, part 1. I want to make sure homework 2 part, this part is done. Then I will go dedicate to homework 2.
Yes.
Just give me a second.
Copy the geodata. Oh, right.
Yeah, and then you call the geo data source.
Sure.
Unit when I whenever it's M in the units,
You can.
but it says on this
Let's see.
layer.
Very nice.
No, this N need to be single quote.
Okay. Like,
Oh, why I should.
Means that it's a character.
So there's like.
If you go to the geo source distance, can you go up? Geo source distance, you see that the last one is a character. The character need to be single quote. M is M represents variable. So you have to put single quote to say that's a character. Okay, then that should be okay. Hey, any question about part 2 before I go to part 1? Yeah, go ahead. Did you? Yeah, come over here. Can I hear you clear?
我就只问你那个方式。还有2个环节。
you live in?
Essentially,
See you tomorrow.
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to be careful. Yeah, you can cross it. Just trust your. Okay, good. Thank you. Right. So the question is called, this is what we call a synchronous call. A synchronous call means that if you try to read something, it's not there, it will never return. it will wait it. It will block it until you got something exactly.
This first connection, your server would send something back
Right,
to get this to on.
right, exactly.
Okay, and then like what you do that. So also, why do you set the last character into 0?
Okay, I probably treat the whole thing as a string. So because it's a string, so how will a string end? It's going to put the terminator, and the terminator has to be 0. So it's like an end of the string. How do I know in a C string it finished? Because it has a \0.
So is that needed for like? Or is that just there for? Like, can I remove this?
No, that's to be honest. If you remove it, no, it has to be 0 because here I use f put s. S means string. So if you don't put this, it might put some extra character.
So I put in the buffer until it sees like a term.
Exactly. F put s. Remember that s is important. F put is just putting some character in general, but F put s is putting this as a string.
Okay, and then so this is all this sending.
Right.
If you use the string once you don't send it to you just send the things from
Right, right. Again, treat it as a string.
Okay, so also we need to do it then. And then so more context, like send that from
Right.
And it's to respond to the information.
Right, right.
Okay, and then but how is it how does it so the server sends something that
This is a client. This is a client or server. Okay, go down. There should be a place which I say exit or something. I forgot exactly how I do it.
oh no. It's just like a string.
Right, and you don't need to JSON. You just send that. I will talk about part 1 right now to everybody. Okay, just hold on. Okay, I want to any part 2 question.
I have to finish another one.
Okay,
about
quick.
part 2.
Okay.
Yes. Can I?
Yeah, no, you can sit there. Just show
Where
it
is
to
it?
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, so there's a data, which is, I don't know. I'm sorry, it's in trans. It's not.
You just describe to me. I think I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. Just
Yeah,
just
sure.
tell me what you. No, I don't have to see the screen. Just tell me what it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, so in the transaction.h, there's a void pointer tr dash data.
Yes.
I don't know how to initiate it. How to say? So it's like for every attribute we try to like initiate in the constructor, default constructor. But I don't know where I should put this data.
Okay. So if there is the constructor already, if tr data is passed in, there's a 1 which is a void star. At the constructor pass in, you basically replace with that value. If not, just set it to null. It's a generic pointer by default value should be null.
What does another question is what does void pointer?
I actually talk about that on
I know.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
Monday or
yes,
Wednesday. Yeah.
That last lecture in the end you said
Right.
something about void pointer, but actually we don't talk about more about it.
Right. Right. So which part you don't understand what I said back then?
No, I understand. It's like we didn't get into details.
It's just a general pointer. You can do casting to any pointer. you
To
want.
any-
Yeah, it's just a placeholder typically. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other part 2? Okay, I'm going to do part 1. Okay, whatever, as I think you two both have a part one, part two. Yes, whatever go first. Yeah.
就是我这里加一个 status，因为我
So I
我
submitted
是
it.
假，我是才会加。
Yeah. 那我们把这个加进去，不是我们把这个加进去，我刚刚是忘了这样。
Surrounded by single quotes.
Status 是什么？
status 它这个告诉你什么？
Okay, you look at your double quote. It's a little bit. Let me type it.
但它自己就显
Do you
示
see
出
the
来
difference in these two?
我这里看到你分散数。
You see, this one is different from all your double quote.
我没加，它这
You see, this one is vertical,
Oh.
straight, and this one is till this side with a slope a little bit. Because Microsoft is using a different character, so this is actually not a real double quote. This is the problem of copy and paste.
不然它后面画不出来。
Yeah, change all of them to.
这边这样子。
Yes, you see that is different. That's the issue. Yeah.
Oh.
That's really, this is a system incompatibility issue between the Microsoft world and the Linux world and the Unix world.
这个
Constantly
30
get
天
like
的
the connection.
transaction codes，你看这里。
So this is a different problem.
你看
Do you have the VPN?
它不是这，哎，我忘了。这个 person code 我不管，我先看这个。
Yeah, it looks fine. It's just, this is totally network connection. Can you, let me do this. Can you give me a web window? Give me a like a Firefox
Oh, I got one.
or Chrome, whatever.
那我进去之后呢？
Let me actually go see if you can access to the server. Okay, you actually be able to access the folder. So it means your connection is good. Okay. Sorry, where is and then why? Hold on 1 second. Let me actually just get rid of this.
这个地方，这个地方。
It could be my server is down. But you know what? I cannot access the server because my VPN is down. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can connect to my VPN. Online. This might not be a problem. This is just my server has a VPN, but I cannot connect to my server, my own. It's a VPN. Right, try tonight. You should. I will try to fix it. Okay.
So what do you need to send me the part one?
Hey, wait a minute. You actually just try to connect the server. Is that working? When did you try to run your program? So why he is able to?
Actually, it works at time.
Okay.
Like here,
Uh-huh.
like in 3 p.m. he goes like high AC zeros. Yeah,
Right.
after this time it just goes to arrow every time.
Okay. Okay, remote student, I'm going to reset my system. So I'm going to disconnect for a moment, okay?
Sounds good.
Sorry about that. I'm going to